Hi everyone, it's Niamh here and welcome to my art journaling channel. Today is working through a creative block because we all have them, and this is my final video for this year too, so it's my big thank you to you all for sticking around with my channel and making it what it is. It's been an absolute pleasure to play with you all this year. I have so much fun chatting to you through your comments, through your likes, those of you who've done classes with me, thank you so much. I've had so much fun with that. So this year has been a very, very big year. It has been a very, very weird year. It has been, for some people, an absolutely terrible year, but I'm trying to think of the silver linings. So hopefully 2021, which I cannot believe is nearly upon us, will be much better. Fingers crossed, fingers and toes and everything else. So that's what we're hoping for. But I wanted to kind of celebrate, or not celebrate, just acknowledge how weird this year's been. So this is where this page came from. So I'm starting off, what I usually do in a creative block is I just cover the background with collage stuff. So I go to my collage box and just pull out a whole heap of stuff that I think is a bit interesting. So I've got a mix of vintage text, I've got those napkins, I have got some gel prints that I found stashed at the bottom of a box that I'd cut out for some shape and done some doodling on. I have some tissue paper I've stenciled on up the top. I've got an old Frida napkin over there. So just lots and lots of stuff that I'm just gluing over until I'm happy. What I tend to find is when I have a creative block, by doing this, I don't think about it. I'm just putting my gel medium down, sticking down my collage papers, and so be it. Now, sometimes when I get to the end, I have an idea, and if I don't, I go on to this next stage, which is adding colour. So I tend to use watercolours for this, which is actually a really strange thing for me to use for those people who follow this channel, because I'm so, hung up by acrylics. But what I found, and I cannot explain the reason for this, is that the watercolours actually, even though watercolours do sort of activate again, I don't find they do it as much when I do it in this way. I'm not explaining it very well, but I think it's because the gel medium in the background acts as a bit of a ground, because it's a matte gel medium. It's got a bit of tooth to it, so the watercolours have a little bit of something to stick to. And because I tend to stencil over the top and so on, I'm not actively painting lots of wet media over the top of it again, so it doesn't really have a chance to get completely wet and soaked again. That's my thing, and I'm sticking to it. Those people who do watercolors may know why it works or why it doesn't. I don't know, but I just find it's a great way to add translucent color to the background. If you didn't have watercolors, however, you could certainly use watered down acrylics to do this. So just keep adding water to them until they're really transparent, and you can get a very similar effect. The other thing I love about doing this is I can do a little bit of mark making. And again, this is I'm not sure what I'm doing, so I'm just going to keep my hand busy until an idea pops into my head. So I'm going through and just using different paintbrushes and making different marks. So I've got the flat brush making those red marks. I had sort of a rounder brush making those teardrop marks. I had a really thin brush to make the crossy marks. What I do tend to do, and this helps me again with that sort of mindfulness, is I tend to put it in 3 places on my page. So same with the colours in the background. I sort of have this rule, do it in 3 places, and you've got that continuity, you've got that visual triangle happening. But I don't really need to think about it. I don't need to be thinking, going, oh, is this balanced, is this not balanced? So if I have a look on my page and see I've got 3 things on there, I know it's going to sort of make a visual triangle, so that's okay. I did know when I was doing this, I quite like that image of Frida down in the corner, so I wasn't doing anything particularly over the top of her. You can sort of see my mark makings more framing it than going over the top of it. The second lot of watercolors that you can see me using at the moment, these are handmade watercolors. Most of them are by designs by Rachel Beth, who is on Instagram and Etsy. She's not shipping internationally at the moment due to whatever's happening in the world. But the handmade watercolors, particularly the pinks and the yellows and so on, they're very, very creamy and opaque, so they're just beautiful, and that metallic is just something else. I think that one's called Copper Candles. It comes in the birthday cake happy birthday set, which is just amazing. So they're just lovely, but there are lots and lots these days. There are lots and lots of really great metallic watercolors that you can use. And again, if you didn't have watercolors, use acrylic paint over the top or use paint pens. It all works the same. So I'm just going in, drying it off, because I'm impatient, using some paper towel over the top to sponge it off, and then going on to my next thing, which is using paint pens, because obviously I do not have enough on this page as is. So I'm using quite a wide variety of paint pens as well, and in different widths. Now you can kind of see in some of those areas, particularly over the red, that white's not quite as white as it should be. But on all the other areas, it's kind of keeping the colour it should be. So, yeah, the watercolours aren't doing too bad. I'm also using the black just to give it a little bit of shadow to it, so it pops out from the page a little bit more. So, thinking about how you use your colours together to help pop out your marks in the background. So, with the blue crosses, I'm adding some extra yellow around them to help them pop out. With the red shapes, I'm just doing a square around them. So you don't necessarily, again, have to think all that much about your mark making. You're just sort of copying over the top of what you've done. So then I'm putting in some little scallopy shapes. You can see I'm kind of sticking to the border. It wasn't necessarily deliberate, but I was giving myself a little bit of room to move because I still wasn't 100% sure what I wanted to do. At this stage, I was sort of thinking I might do a big quote in the middle, but I wasn't 100% what was going to go in there. So giving yourself room to move, or just not being very particular about what you've done. So that's another thing that I suppose I sit here and do all this mark making. This is the bit I'm doing it for. It's just for me to be doing something and having fun. If I cover it over, that's okay, because I've got what I wanted to out of the page, if that makes sense. Now what I'm doing is adding some washi tape. So this is a metallic silver washi tape. It kind of looks white on the page because the white has slightly coloured with watercolours underneath. And I'm adding some gold as well. I don't use washi tapes very often in my artwork, but I do find particularly metallics and the glitter ones in neutral colours are very, very useful, and just add that extra little bit of bling or something onto your page. So now I'm just going back in and adding more marks, because this is what you do when you've got a creative block. You just keep adding and keep adding, because at some stage the answer is going to pop out at me and go, oh yeah, you've done it now. You don't need to add any more. So this is kind of how I work through my problems. There is always an ugly stage in mixed media, and usually what happens is people stop too soon. So they get to an ugly page and go, oh, I can't do any more. I'm really spoiling this. So I just can't do any more. Usually in that stage you actually need to do a little bit more. So I found, while I was doing lots of magazine collages, I found some of these cool images. So the first two are obviously from Leonardo da Vinci. It's from an old calendar or a desk planner I had and I cut out. The weird and freaky head there is actually a scan from one of my previous art journals. I really loved that head, so I thought he was perfect to put onto this body. Again, just to get the weird and wonderful. I thought Mona Lisa, she's not Mona Lisa, I think it's the woman with the ermine, or with woman with ferret maybe, I don't know. I'm not great in my art history, sorry, but she needed a funky hat. So, because there's such a party going on in the background, she needed something happy happening. So, just with some papers that I had around, I went in and added a little funky hat. I'm going with my paint pens to add some extra colour to her dress as well, because, you know, brown's so 2 centuries ago. You need a bit of pink to decorate everything up, and a bit of turquoise, why not, and some polka dots. And this is where it can become really, really fun. And at this stage, I was just having so much fun. I wasn't thinking anymore. I was just having fun. I wasn't really caring about the outcome, because it was just fun at this stage. And that's what art journaling should be all about. That's what art should be all about. Sometimes we get so carried away with, you know, overthinking, is this right? Does this look good? We forget to have fun. So I would encourage you to put that into maybe your resolutions for next year, to art journal for fun. Practicing is really important. Getting your feelings out is really important. But sometimes just doing stuff for fun is really important too. So get your play on and just play. So now we've all got turquoise and pink on us. I'm just going in and doing a little bit of outlining with my black pen, which is a bit splattery by the looks of it there, because it's just splattered all over my page. I'm also extending out my little guy's eyebrows just to make it look even more weird and wonderful. Could be a little girl, I don't know. And just making everything pop out a little bit, giving her a little bit more detail in her eye. I find with magazine collages, I really like to outline everything with black as well, just to give it a little bit more definition, just to blend it into the page a little bit more. It puts that hand-drawn thing on, puts the hand-drawn element or you onto the page. The other thing I also like to do, even in magazine images, is to re-whiten the eyes so they really pop on the page. I have put some colour into her eye. It's probably a little bit bizarre. She does look a little bit starey now, but that's okay. One thing that you do really need to be aware of is that you need to put in the catch-alls in the eyes. If you paint over it like I have, I'm not sure if I'm just waiting for the paint to dry before I go back and fix up her eyes, but having the catch-alls in the eye is really, really important. So for the last thing I put on this page is to put on my quote, and my quote is, this year has been weird, because it really has been. So I hope for all of you that art journaling has helped you get through it. Our art, or all the artists out there, and Idina Wakely and Di Reevely and Tim Holtz and all those people out there were putting on extra art goes, which I know really helped me through the middle of lockdowns and so on. So I hope all that extra art out there helped you, and I hope that it just gets better. There's not much more to say about it. So we're looking for a much better year next year. This is a close-up of the original page, my first mark making. If you do a page like this, one of the things I do, and this is the reason why I took this photo, is I like to take photos of these. I call them my collage matrices, because I put them into my computer and print them out, and then I can use those in additional pages, tear them up and use them in different bits and pieces. And this is a close-up of the final page. So thank you so much for sticking with me in 2020. I really, really appreciate it. I'm so looking forward to 2021. Same schedule, 2 videos a week. Lots more additional content for you. I hope you and your families have a happy new year. And let's put 2020 to bed. Until next time, bye for now.